A very good evening to one and all. I'm Riddhi, Assistant Professor at the Department of Communicative English, Ashutosh College. On behalf of my department and the Internal Quality Assurance Cell at Ashutosh College, I heartily welcome you all to Communicatio Lumus, our series of national webinars celebrating the power of language and communication. I'm delighted to welcome you to today's webinar titled Content Writing and Copywriting, Using Language and Creativity to Create an Impact. This is the second webinar of our series. Content writing has emerged as a very popular career option among students, both as a full-time option and a freelancing one. Copywriting, its comparatively lesser known sibling in the marketing and advertising sector, is yet another opportunity you wouldn't want to miss out learning about. Our today's speaker, Vandita Gauba, a seasoned professional with years of experience in content writing and copywriting, is here to talk to you about the prospects and opportunities in both the areas. Before we proceed, I request the organizing secretary, Shuroma, to please introduce the speaker in a few words. Over to you, Shuroma.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Riddhi. Good evening, everyone. I am Shuroma, Assistant Professor of Communicative English, Ashutosh College. Today, we are privileged to have with us Vandita Gauba, Digital Marketing Consultant. Having completed her post-graduation in English Literature from Delhi University, Vandita Gauba worked as a freelance writer, intern copywriter, and faculty before joining as a business development executive with the Princeton Review. As an account manager for WebChatney, she provided solutions for online advertising and marketing. She moved on to work as a features writer with Media Transasia and senior features writer with the India Today Group, before becoming an independent consultant for content production for digital and print media. She has also worked as Associate Creative Director, Copy at Flamingo Digital, where she built a team of content producers from scratch, led ideation and strategy development, created standards for copywriting and quality control of content, and developed scripts for videos, social media posts, and content for websites. She has also served as Group Head Copy at Quora. In her present role as an independent digital marketing consultant, she creates content for websites and develops content strategy for social media marketing. On behalf of our department, I would like to thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us here today. And we all are really excited to listen to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Riddhi and Shuroma. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are.
Awesome. Thank you for having me here, and I'm really excited to be a part of this session. You really set the tone for today's presentation, and I'm going to share my screen now.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is visible now.
Wonderful. Thank you again, and let's begin with content writing and copywriting, which is what everyone is here for. I hope today's session can value add to whatever queries or interests you have in this department. So, I would liked to conduct a poll and ask whether you think there is a difference between content writing and copywriting. Perhaps you could leave your comments in the comment section, and it'll be fun to see what you think of it right now, and maybe what do you think of it at the end of the presentation. I'll start off by saying there is a difference, and the difference lies mainly in terms of the purpose for content writing and the purpose behind copywriting. Good copywriting's purpose is essentially to sell, in a nutshell. That is the purpose of good copywriting. What is the purpose of good content? In a nutshell, it informs. So selling and informing are the two differences, although both involve some kind of writing. And what is content really? If you look around you or you look on the internet, everything's content, right? The brochure that you receive, the flyer that you receive for this webinar, everything's content. This PPT that you are now taking a look at is content. So the videos you see on Instagram are content. Content is everywhere, but it comes in many forms. It could be audio, it could be text, it could be video. And today we're going to talk about content writing, because as you can see, it's already a very vast topic. So you need to boil it down or really narrow your focus a little bit to understand content writing and copywriting. Is one better than the other? Not really. Businesses need both content writing and copywriting. Like I said, content writing provides information, copywriting then goes and sells. So the more content you have, the easier it gets for someone to sell. And we're talking about here in terms of businesses, and even more importantly, in terms of writing for the digital medium in a digital world, because right now we're all at home and we can't really go out and get our content. So we are all on in a digital world on the internet, and so we're going to restrict ourselves to content writing and copywriting in the digital space. So where do you see copywriting? Had you been out and about on the street, you would have seen it on billboard ads. You still see it on TV ads. On the internet, you'll see it on Facebook ads, the headlines that you see on Google ads. When you visit a website and when you land on a website, that's a landing page. What you see there is what grabs your attention there is copywriting. YouTube ads require copywriters. Any kind of video ads require copywriters. Where do you see content writing? Content writing, again, to reiterate, is used to inform people. So it's mostly long form content, which you'll see on blogs, on websites where you need more information, press releases, product reviews, how-to articles that you see on the internet. These will all be typically content writing pieces. There are some niche areas such as technology, medicine, and travel. Not everybody can write on this. So these industries require expert content writers. I may be able to write a blog about on parenting without being a parent, but without a lot of knowledge and research in the field of medicine, I will not be able to write a very technical piece for the medical industry, a content writing piece for a medical industry. So these are some of the niche areas in content writing. And this can be a very attractive proposition if you become an expert content writer, but you're also an expert in an industry. That's a double bonus for you. Can you do both? Can you do content writing and copywriting both in your career? Yes, you can. Both need excellent communication skills. Depending on which industry you're working in, the roles may involve a bit of both. For instance, when I started off as a copywriter in an ad agency, a part of my work involved researching and writing content for websites too. And if you plan to start your own writing business, if you plan to work as a freelancer, you may choose to do both copywriting and content writing. But eventually, my advice would be for you to hone your craft and get better at in one area, because the more confident you are in what you do, the easier it will be to present your skills in a powerful way. So if you really work, because it's a skill, writing is a skill. The more you work in one area, the better you will get at it. But of course, you can do both, and in some cases, you will be required to do both. This is an example of a content writing piece. This is called a white paper. And I'm going to show you this white paper. It's online. So, and I'll take you through what content writing is. So this is a piece called What Developers Want. It's based on a 2018 survey. And what it's done is it has taken a lot of research and presented in a form which can be used by potential employers, for instance. So that's what content writing will do. Take a lot of information and then present it in a manner that somebody can use that information. Now, content writing does not have to be boring. Just because it's a lot of information, a lot of long form content, it doesn't mean it needs to be boring. It still needs to engage the audience and retain your audience. So this would be an important challenge in your job as a content writer, taking the information and organizing it in a way, structuring it in a way that your audience does not fall asleep or does not lose track in a lot of jargon. So I hope you can see my screen and look at how the content has been broken up into headlines and subheads and tips, graph charts that make a lot of sense. So immediately I go to these snippets of information, and I can quickly extract information from this page. Okay, going forward. So, what I want to bring your attention to is that nowadays, every type of content, including white papers, brochures, everything needs to be written really well and needs to be structured well and then designed really well so that your visitors can get the maximum out of it. Usually, when we think of these brochures and white papers or PDF articles, they sound boring, they sound like they will have thousands of words. But our job as content writers is to make it easy for somebody else to grab that information and utilize that information. So utility is an important factor in content writing. That's about it that I want to show you on this page, how the content is structured. Of course, you will work with a designer. Both in content writing and copywriting, you will work with a designer to then make sure that your content is visually also attractive. You can break it down into into a lot of different structures, but eventually your designer will have to help bring them out. This would look very different in a Word document when you start writing as opposed to what it looks now, right? So yes, this is all about content writing, and now heading back to our presentation. Okay, so good content writing, what it does, it informs the audience and retains the audience there. What it doesn't do, it is not supposed to bore your audience. So it does require a little bit of creativity there, not as much as copywriting. Copywriting tends to take a whole leap in terms of creativity, but it does require some amount of creativity to make sure that your audience is engaged. This is an example of now where you would see copywriting. I'm not sure if you've seen, but you must have seen some Zomato ads. You would have seen WWF ads. So let me take you what I like about these are some famous ads. Let me point out what are the things here that are great about these ads. If you see this one, it says "Bol baby bol malai tikka roll." It uses a popular song to get across the message. Also, notice that it's not in English. It's not completely in English. It uses English to reach the target audience. This is what I was showing you. You probably missed this. These are some ads that have been written by copywriters. So here, content is not is not the primary, information is not the primary goal here. Some amount of information is, but the primary goal is to sell over here, right? So if you see these, if you see this particular ad, this is a Zomato ad, and like I was telling you, this does not, I mean, we're talking about mainly copywriting and content writing in English, but as you can see, you need to speak to your audience in the language that they understand, that they connect best in. So this is an ad in English. The one at the bottom again is an ad in English. You know, it uses the popular terms, news real honi chahiye, spicy to gossip bhi hoti hai, common things that we understand, that we relate to, and it catches the attention of your target audience. So if you are perhaps targeting an audience in Chennai, you would want to use some Tamil flavor in your copywriting. If you were to advertise in Kolkata, you might want to use some local flavor in your language there. Not always. A lot of information is still in English. Your Facebook, Google ads still need to be written to a large extent in English. But yes, a little knowledge of the vernacular will go a long way. And in copywriting, you'll notice that.
Please hide the pop-up message. Again, the same thing.
Done. So you'll notice that in ads, in copywriting, you don't always need a lot of words. Look at this WWF ad. The concept here, it's visually very strong, but the line is, the copy is somewhere here: give a hand to wildlife. It conveys the message, but more visually than with copy. However, without the copy, it would not have been, you wouldn't know what this ad is about, right? Copy is still important. And another thing that I would want to point out here is that copywriting does not, in an ad agency, does not just involve writing the text. It also involves conceptualizing the ad. So I wouldn't be able to tell who thought of this ad here, but typically, if you were asked by WWF to come up with an ad, as a copywriter, you would have to think of how can I best represent this ad visually, or a concept for it. That's something that you would need to think either independently or with your art partner. So it's not just the written text, it is also the idea behind how you're going to sell your copy or your ad. These are two other ad examples. Now these have no visuals.
A little bit about copywriting. I showed you a few ads, 3 ads, and this red slide that you see, this is an ad that I wanted to show you, where content or a copy is the king, and there are no images to support this, but the message is so powerful that the message is conveyed. And this is about The Economist, the magazine. If you, I'm sure you all heard of The Economist, the magazine. It's a business magazine which not only gives you political and business news, but also gives you an analysis. So when you are a top-notch leader in a business organization, you need to take a lot of decisions. And so the first ad on the left says, I never read The Economist. And who says that? A management trainee aged 42. So the message is clear that if you don't read The Economist, you're just going to be a trainee or for the rest of your life. It's that important a magazine for a person for a leader, for a person in a business organization. And the second one again is to err is human, but to err is unacceptable. So if you are a leader, a management in a senior role, then you cannot be speechless or not have an opinion, and for that you'll need The Economist again. So this is the power of words and copywriting. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please, Riddhi. There's a link here to an ad, which I won't go into now. Perhaps you guys can take a look at it later. But this is, again, Fevicol is known for some of its really wonderful copywriting and ads, right? And so copywriting is not just about print ads, it's also about video ads. It's about social media ads and promotion on social media, on your Instagram channels, on Twitter. The back and forth that you see between Netflix and Tinder or any two other brands, that is all part of creativity and content writing and social media management, right? So in this ad, when you take a look at it later, what happens is this is a YouTube ad, and nowadays, initially when we had these banner ads on YouTube, if you remember, people would pay attention to these, but now people have no longer pay attention to this. They only want to see their video. So what Fevicol did was they took this banner ad, and to show how strong Fevicol is as an adhesive, they created a sticky banner. So when this ad plays, it looks like there's a woman who's flaunting her hair, and it's a hair commercial, but suddenly her hair gets stuck in this banner ad. Fevicol is that strong, strong and adhesive that even a your hair can even get stuck on a banner ad. So it's slightly funny. Of course, it's a little unreal. So that's what I meant when I said at the beginning of the presentation that copywriting really takes a leap in creativity. It goes way beyond what content writing can do. Content writing has its purpose, and the purpose of copywriting is completely different, right? If you take a look at this later, it'll be interesting. Let's move on to the next slide, Ruby. So again, with that ad, I wanted to show you that copywriting, there are a lot of things involved in copywriting. Apart from just writing the final text, there is also the conceptualization of the ad. Sometimes it involves scripting for video ads. The Fevicol ads that you see on your TV were probably written by copywriters. Sometimes they're also written by script writers, and ideas can come from anywhere. But the onus in an agency lies on the copywriter to write these ads and these scripts. So what is good copywriting? It is persuasive for those who want to respond to your ad, which means it is about selling. It is about getting your customers to buy a product, but you're not going to use copywriting to really push your ad on somebody who does not want to see it. That would not be a very fruitful thing to do. For instance, if I am an 18-year-old and I'm not a mother, and you try and push a diaper ad on me, it is not going to work. It is not going to be, it's going to be a waste of your business or your client's budget. And so it is, you want to create an ad with your copywriting that's persuasive, but for the right target audience. So you may want to convince, with copywriting, you may want to convince people of the need to vote, or you may want to convince somebody to join a cause. Like WWF might want you to write or create an ad about protecting animals or saving trees. So there's an outcome in mind, and you write your copy to achieve that action. So what it is not is, it does not mean marketing of products to those who don't need it. And there's a lot of strategy also involved in copywriting. So you must be able to plan what you want to write. You have to be careful of the tone that you're going to use. When you market your product to a mom, your tone will be slightly different from how you would market a wealth management product to an elderly business professional. How you sell a Coke brand or a burger brand, your tone and your style of talking will change according to that. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please. So next slide. Yeah, what is not great copywriting is when you start sounding like an ad. So, what happens, what do you think happens to most of the advertisements sent to you in an email? They go land in your spam folder, right? Most of, we don't watch television, or we don't move to YouTube to really watch ads on a daily basis, right? We want to watch our program, we want to watch our whatever music we want to listen to on YouTube. We are not looking out for ads, and most often we are trying to skip those ads. So your ad should not actually look like an ad. It has to be crafted in such a way that it's something somebody would want to watch, and not want to skip. So don't try to sound like an ad. Don't say buy this, get that. Of course, you could do that, but you'll need to try and grab your audience's attention with something more than just buy, sell, do this, do that. Okay. Next slide, please. This is from a famous book, and I'll tell you more about this book.
So, if I had two ads, if I had two products and I wanted to write an ad for a preschool in Delhi, I wanted to target a parent and I want to write an ad to sell a motorbike. Which of these two people do you think I would target the preschool to, and which one would I target the motorbike to? Now, a stereotypical answer would be you would target a preschool to the woman on the right, and you would target a motorbike to the man on the left. But that is not very insightful. So you need to really understand your target. The woman on the right could actually be a motorbike enthusiast, and the man on the left could be a single dad and who has a toddler who needs to go to a preschool. So you really need to understand your audience before you start selling something to them, and before you start writing copy for them. So you need to speak in their language. You need to see what it is, what are their pain points, how your business can solve those pain points, and therefore how you can craft your copy in a way that you can sell your product to them. Okay, next slide. So this is how you would know your audience. You would try and identify how old are they, where do they stay, do they live in a really wealthy locality, is that some, can you target them in that way? What is their household income? Where do they go for vacations? Do they generally go abroad every year? Do they go on a lot of foreign trips, work trips? Do they go for weekend vacations? Are they bachelor boys who take off on long weekends? Where do they work right now? Do they have kids? What are some of their pain points when they're buying? If you understand your target audience's problems, then you can relate to them. You can use songs to craft your copy. You can use words that will immediately strike home. So just keep your audience in mind, and that's one of the challenges that a copywriter has to face, but it's also the interesting bit about copywriting. Next slide, please. These are some of the elements of copywriting. You don't use all of them in every copy, but you can keep some of these things in mind. So for instance, if your copy is punchy and short, it will grab attention immediately in an environment, in a digital environment where attention spans are so less. We keep scrolling through our Instagram feeds. We just, our attention spans are probably 3 seconds now, not more than that. So a punchy short copy can really grab our attention. It should definitely be error-free. There's a difference between using slang and using a tone of voice which is relatable and using something which is obviously got errors. So when McDonald's says, "I'm loving it," that's not very proper English, is it? But it relates, the audience relates to that. I'm loving it. There's no error in that. it's a conscious decision. But if your copy has typos, if it has grammatical mistakes, it is not going to look very professional. It is not going to convey the right message to your audience. At the end of the day, McDonald's, when it says I'm loving it and I'm casual and I'm happy go lucky, it still wants to convey that it's a very proper professional brand which is serving you good food. So keep that in mind. Obviously, you would want to keep a positive tone in your copywriting when you're trying to sell something. There should always be a call to action at the end of it once you made your point. So a lot of things that you can keep in mind when you're writing copy, but you don't, some of them are mandatory, like don't have error in your copy, but you don't end up using everything at once, of course. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, once you figured out content writing and copywriting, what are the next steps? When you join a company or when you start off, you will be a content writer. Let's say you take up the job of a content writer, but you will not only have great ideas for writing content, you will also learn how to craft your writing well, and then figure out for your business, how can you distribute your content. And the next step would be to grow as a content manager or a content strategist. How, once I've written my content down, how can I present it to my audience, or where can I find them? How can I create a strategy to make sure that my content reaches my target audience? So, you know, some of the places where you could be a content manager, strategist, could be in a company like Amazon. Amazon isn't anything without its content, right? Not only do they need to build a massive amount of written content, but they also have to make sure it's accurate, it's appropriate, it's informative. So a place like Amazon would need the best content creators, and you could find yourself in a role as a content strategist, as a content manager, content developer, even a technical writer. Next slide, please. And what are the next steps for a copywriter? So as a copywriter in an advertising agency, you could grow from being an intern to being a junior copywriter to being a senior copywriter, a copy supervisor, all the way up to a creative director. A creative director not only leads the copy, the writing team, but also the design team, the video team, and multiple creative departments in an ad agency. So you could grow to become a creative director, a chief creative officer, and lots more. Next slide, please. So once you start writing, you are not going to figure it out on day one itself. What you need to do is you need to test your writing. So put it out there, right? Whatever you've written, put it out there, and then see how well it's being received or not being received well. Improvise on it, make it better each day, and make sure that it is grammatically correct at all costs. I cannot insist on the importance of grammar. The best agencies, the best companies may even need you to pass a grammar test to qualify for a job with them. And if you can't communicate using the rules of grammar, then people won't be able to understand you. So grammar is what makes or breaks a professional writer. So make sure you get grammar right. Next slide, please. Do you need to pursue a course? A course can be a great way to learn about your chosen field from subject matters, but you don't always need a course. What you can do is you can sign up for content writing classes or copywriting classes online. You could also attend an advertising course or a mass communication course, but to practice the art of writing is more important than knowing the theory. So clients will want to work with reliable content writers who can meet deadlines, accept revisions, willingly create good content, and both education and experience are important. So go ahead, pursue a course if you feel you need to know more about this subject. HubSpot offers a great content marketing certification course. it's a free certification course, and it takes several hours to complete. And you can find similar courses on the other sites like Udemy, edX, all of these sites where you can get certified. But at the end of the day, you need to practice and you need to create some sample work. Next slide. So of course, how do you get started? Write and build a portfolio. Most people who want to take up writing as a career probably already write a journal or may have written for their school and college magazines. You may have even been on the editorial board for these magazines. But do you have the skills to help someone else's business grow? Because that is what content writing and copywriting are about. So it's assumed that you will have a resume when you're looking for a job, but it's just as important to share your work samples. So create a portfolio with sample writing, even if you've never worked before. Create a pitch for your writing, and companies may also ask you to take a writing or specifically a copywriting test before they clear you for a job. Next slide. I think I've covered most of this, how to land a job, but I'll just let you know once again. Look for internships. In the current environment, a lot of people are offering internships. That's a great way to start. You'll learn about the job. You'll also get those writing samples that you need. So look for internships, look for openings at job portals like Glassdoor. Connect with people on LinkedIn, with HR professionals in companies that you want to join, or join a content writing group on LinkedIn, a copywriting group on LinkedIn. People are constantly posting for jobs there. So apply directly to companies and agencies. You can, if you're not able to find a job, but it's still important to get those writing samples, so you can take up a freelance job, or you can sign up. There are sites like Fiverr or Upwork where you can find work. You can start practicing your writing and get reviews on your work, so you know how well you're doing and how you can improve on your writing. Okay, next slide. These are 3 books that you can refer to. The first one is for content writing. Everybody writes. And if you want to know more about advertising, David Ogilvy has written this book. He's a founder of Ogilvy, the ad agency, and it'll give you a great perspective. The third one is, again, a great example of how to write good copy. It has a lot of examples from ads created by the best Volvo, McDonald's, the best ads in the world, and you'll find it has a lot of tips on how to craft your writing better, what not to do. So if you're looking for more books, if you're looking for books on content and copywriting, these are the books you can refer to, and they're really the Bible for in the writing industry, so it'll be good for you. Okay, so the last thing I want to say is writing is a skill. It's a muscle as much as it's a talent. So use it every day with a purpose. And I wish you all good luck. So let me know if you have any questions. That's all that I want to say for now.
So thank you so much, and we are extremely sorry for the technical glitches. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such insightful talk. And I'm sure this has been a wonderful exposure to the areas of content writing and copywriting. So some questions have been posted by our participants in the chat box, and it's wonderful if you could answer some of them.
Sure, definitely. I'd love to.
So the first question is, how are content writing and copywriting different from advertising?
Okay. So copywriting definitely is a part of advertising. It's a role that you play in the advertising world. Like I said, it involves selling. The purpose is to sell. So when you craft your copies, it is usually for a brand or a service, and that kind of it's a marketing job, really. And advertising is part of marketing, and copywriting is part of marketing. Content writing may be a part of advertising, or you may take it up independently for a company or an organization. So when it's part of advertising, if you take up a role in as a content writer in an advertising agency, you can typically expect to write website content, blogs, to some extent SEO, content, product reviews, a lot of those things, marketing oriented content writing. And if you were to take it up with a company like I pointed out, Amazon, you could be then writing to provide more information depending on what that information is. They might want you to write content for their products or for the company itself about Amazon, about its founders, about its work policies. It could be anything. So there is an overlap sometimes between the two roles, between content writing and copywriting. Copywriting definitely falls under advertising. Content writing can sometimes fall under advertising, sometimes not. So it's you get to decide what you want to do, and try a few options before you can figure out how you want to go about it. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. Thank you. The next question is it necessary to do a course content writing to get a job in marketing field, or if you have good writing skills, you will anyway get a job in this field?
Yeah, so it's not mandatory. Nobody will ask you to show a certificate. But like I pointed out, if I'm a newbie, and I don't have anything to show, if I've never taken up a job before and I have nothing to show, all that I can say is I like writing and I want to work for your company. It gets very difficult for a company to trust that you can do a good job for them. So you need to prove yourself. There are a lot of content writers out there. You need to prove why you are the right fit. And for that, definitely create some writing samples for that company or in general. Create writing samples. Even if you've done a course, part of that course will involve creating some kind of writing samples, which you will ultimately have to show at the time when you go for the interview. Because once I see your writing, I know what you're capable of, and then I can compare you with another person. It makes it easy for me to judge whether I want to hire you or not. So course is not compulsory, but a portfolio writing sample is a definite must.
The next question is how to take care of the fact that your advertisement does not overshadow your product.
Not sure what that question means. Can you clarify? Overshadow your product? Your advertisement should always showcase your product. It should show the best about your product. It should bring out the brand personality. So if you mean how to prevent yourself from getting too creative and forgetting about the product, that the client will take care of. The client, if he or she does not see the product in the advertisement, the client is not going to accept your ad. So it should always service the brand or the product. Unless it does that, it will not fly. One way to check is ask yourself, if you were to see your ad, would you buy the product or service that you're trying to sell? If it convinces you without any push, without anybody paying you for it, then it should probably convince somebody else too.
The question is sometimes copywriting or content writing is followed by trolling on social media. So, what are your thoughts on that? Is it good for the brand, or it can have a negative effect?
Yes, trolling does have a negative. Trolling is not positive at all. And brands take a lot of pain to make sure that they can avoid it. So there are lots of checks. A lot of your copy when you're trying to be very creative, may get rejected because the brand is afraid of trolls. A brand may not want to
Ma'am, if
comment
you
on
could be
a
a little
particular.
loud.
Okay, sure. A brand may not want to comment on a particular trend or a particular topic because they want to avoid trolling. So brands are very careful about that usually. But it also depends on how the brand decides to handle the troll. Sometimes they respond in very quirky, very creative ways, so that instead of it becoming a negative conversation, it actually just turns the table completely. So it depends on how the brand handles the trolling.
Many of the participants are requesting you to suggest some platform for freelancing sites or some online courses to learn
Freelancing
content
sites
writing
like,
and copyright.
yeah, freelancing sites I had mentioned, Fiverr and Upwork are two that I know where you can take up these gigs or projects, and you can get paid for it, or you can work for free initially just to get the ball rolling. You can also you can also approach companies directly if you want to work for them. You can just say that here's my my resume and I would love to write for you, and start free. There is harm starting a job without getting paid, as long as you're getting something out of it. You're not getting money out of it, you're getting experience out of it. So go ahead and take up whatever writing jobs you can. And even on LinkedIn, I see a lot happening on LinkedIn these days. So you just have to reach out to people. It's going to be a task. You will need to reach out. Even on job portals, there are so many people offering their writing services. So just because you land up on Fiverr and Upwork does not mean that you will get the job. You will have to fight for it. For content writing courses, HubSpot is great. Check out also edX and Udemy. Coursera has courses on content writing, really extensive courses on content writing and copywriting.
The next
Also
question,
LinkedIn has some free courses too.
question is how to get started in this field, and there are some participants are also asking whether they have to learn graphics designing course for this or not.
For writing, no, you don't. I'm not a graphic artist. I don't know graphic designing. So you don't need to know. If you know, it's just an added benefit. You can create your own ads, and that's amazing. There are creative directors who eventually can do both the jobs, can write and design. So it's not mandatory. But and there are free tools. You can use tools like Canva these days, where you can it's very easy to drag and drop various graphical elements and create an art piece without actually knowing how to use Photoshop or Illustrator. Without knowing those design softwares, you can create a social media post that looks great if you're a writer. So there are many options, but if you are interested in graphic designing, go ahead. That'll just be an added bonus. Does that answer the complete question, or is there another part to it?
Last question, somebody has written, if I'm a good writer in literary background, how can I use this skill as a content writer?
If you're in a literary background, you mean you're good at writing short stories or poetry, perhaps? If I understand your question correctly.
Someone who has studied English literature.
Okay. I'm from a literature background too. I would say that a literature background is a great, but often people assume that it's it makes a natural transition into writing or copywriting. And I don't completely agree with that. Like I said, writing is a skill. It is something that you will become better at over a period of time as you do more and more of writing. So I'm a better writer today than I was 2 years ago. And I hope to be even a better writer 2 years later or 5 years down the line. So, and my literature course, frankly speaking, has very little to do with it, apart from the fact that it meant that I am a good reader. So, being a good reader obviously gave me an advantage. I had a good vocabulary to begin with. I was aware of different styles of writing, tone of voice. I had a great access to storytelling, which is very important for content writing and copywriting. So those I took those aspects, but at the end of the day, if I want to convert as a skill, I need to practice it. And anybody who wants to hire me will need to see that. So even today, if I have to go look for a job, I can't say, oh, I'm a group head in many different advertising agencies. They will want to see my level of samples. Create an ad today for Amul Butter. Create a social media, sorry. Create a social media post for Fevicol today. Go to the page, see what they're promoting, and ad for them. Or pick up another brand, pick up a burger brand. Can you sell burgers under a lockdown right now? Can you sell a car to a client now, considering very few people are driving. There's a recession car. Go ahead, try these examples, writing it, and then go and see some great ads that have been created. Go to adsoftheworld.com. Go to campaign sites that feature good campaigns. Go to brand equity to look at what kind of ads are being created these days and see where you stand. Creating samples. Create one every day. You'll have 365 ads in your portfolio by the end of the year. And then you'll be better off than you are today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our participants have a lot of questions, but we have been able to address only some of them due to paucity of time. And with the exposure we received to the areas of content writing and copywriting, I hope we all would be able to do our independent research to learn more about these areas. Now, on behalf of the entire organizing committee, I would like to thank once again our esteemed speaker, Vandita ma'am, for finding the time and joining us here today despite her busy schedule. Thank you so much, ma'am. Secondly, I would like to thank our college authorities, Vice Principal, Bursar, IQAC Coordinator, teachers, staff, and students of Ashutosh College who have attend this webinar due to some unavoidable circumstances, but always supported us. Thank you so much. All my love and how to our wonderful kids, to our student volunteers. Without you, this would never have been possible. Thanks a lot. And most importantly, a big shout out to the lovely audience. I would like to thank each and everyone in the audience for being with us here today, for uh, for having the patience despite the technical glitches that we had. Thank you so much. Your overwhelming response to this webinar makes us feel really blessed. Before we sign off, I would
Shuroma, I'll
like
just
all our
interrupt you
participants
once.
to know that yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of participants are requesting ma'am if she can share the PPT with them.
Yes.
So it's not compulsory or something, but they are asking for the PPT.
Yes, they're asking for the PPT. Yes.
I will share it Riddhi, and I'll be happy to share it with everyone. I hope it was useful, and thank you for such a great session. I really hope I was able to answer a few of your questions, and thank you, Ashutosh College, Riddhi, and Shurma for organizing this and inviting me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Mr.
ma'am.
Sobhik.
So we will be mailing you the PPT within a month because you know that we have this entire series going on. So please give us some time.
Yes,
Shurumaya, please continue.
yes, yes. And you would receive your, so you have to fill in the feedback form that is mandatory for certification. And please fill in the form with utmost care because that would be used for the purpose of generating e-certificates. So please be very, very careful. And you would receive your certificate of participation within 2 to 3 weeks because you know that we have this webinar series going on right now till 23rd August. So please bear with us. Please give us some time. With that, we would like to sign off now. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.